Breakfast on the beach and the big question. Sunrise over the Sea of Galilee. Faithful stands on the sand, hooves buried slightly, pack saddle resting nearby, face turned toward the warm light. Samuel is at the water's edge, skipping stones. Esther sits on a smooth rock, face lifted to the sunrise, peaceful. I am Faithful, the donkey. I follow Jesus. Faithful breathes in, friends. I have carried loads across dusty roads, rocky paths, and steep hills. I have stood in crowded markets and quiet gardens and locked door upper rooms. But this, he looks out at the golden water. This beach, this sunrise, the smell of fish cooking over a small fire, this is the most beautiful morning of this young donkey's whole life. Samuel turns from the water with a huge grin. Faithful! I skipped a stone 5 times! 5! Excellent, Samuel! Mom saw it! Mom, tell him! 5 times. I counted. Peter and some of the disciples had come back to this lake, back to their boats, back to their nets, back to what they knew when everything else felt enormous and new. They fished all night. Not one fish. All night. Empty nets. The Sea of Galilee completely ignored them. That must have been so frustrating. Exhausting and frustrating, Samuel. I know how that feels. Some loads don't go where you expect them to. As the sun began to rise, just like this sun, a man stood on the shore, called out across the water. Friends, have you caught anything? No, they called back, flat, tired. Throw your net on the right side of the boat. A stranger on the beach told them where the fish? A stranger on the beach. And they did it? They did it. Why? This is a good question. Samuel, I think when you've been fishing all night and caught nothing, and a voice on the shore says, try this, sometimes tired and empty is exactly the right condition for listening. That's rather wise, Faithful. I have my moments. They threw the net to the right, and instantly, so full, 153 fish! The net held! It should not have held, but it held! 153! We counted them! We counted every single one. It took a long time. Worth it. And that is when John grabbed Peter's arm and said, It's the Lord. Peter looked at the shore. Peter looked at the net. Peter looked at the shore again. And then, without one single word, that wonderful wild man jumped straight into the water. Full robes, everything. Splash! Swam the whole way to shore. Samuel! Oops. Produces a cloth from her robe the way mothers magically always do, and calmly dries Samuel's foot. Samuel stands still and lets her, still grinning. Faithful watches them both with deep affection, then continues. Jesus had a little fire going right here on this beach. Fish cooking, bread warming. He looked at them coming in, soaking wet, exhausted, bewildered, full of joy, and he simply said, Come and have breakfast. After everything, after the cross and the grief and the locked rooms and the doubt, he made them breakfast. Yes, that's what love does, Samuel. It shows up, it sits down, it feeds you. Then, at the imaginary fire on the beach, then at faithful. I won't be what kind of content. You already are, Samuel. You already are. After breakfast, Jesus turned to Peter. 3 times he asked him, Peter, do you love me? 3 times Peter said yes. 3 times Jesus said, feed my sheep. Take care of my lambs. Follow me. 3 questions healing 3 denials. 3 yes answers replacing 3 painful no answers. Jesus restoring the most broken thing and turning it into a new beginning. He does that, friends. He finds the broken places and he rebuilds them. He finds the empty nets and he fills them. He finds the hungry, tired people and he makes breakfast. He is that kind of God. Last episode next. The hilltop, the big mission, the most important words he ever said. And a goodbye that turns out to be the greatest beginning. Episode 7, friends, the finale. I have been saving my best story for last. Don't miss it. I am Faithful the donkey. I follow Jesus. How about you?